Have you ever dreamt of a car with the road presence and the ground clearance of a mid-sized SUV but with the looks of a coupe? I mean, well, I haven't, but if you're in the market for one, then this car, the Mercedes GLC Coupe, could well work for you.
The GLC Coupe is unsurprisingly based on the Mercedes GLC, but adds a lower, more sloping roofline and curved rear end to give it a swoopy silhouette. It rivals the BMW X4 and Porsche Macan, and just like those two cars, you'll either think it's a more stylish SUV as a result, or a more impractical one.
Now, as you'd expect, boot space is affected compared to the standard GLC, but it is still a really good sized load area. It's nice and wide, and you've got a relatively low lip to lift things over here. So you get plenty of tether points and a couple of buttons, one to raise or lower the suspension and the other to electronically lower the back seats. And all models come with an electrically powered tailgate. Just like in the X4, space does suffer back here. You know, you would get 3 adults across here, but really it's best suited for a child in the middle seat, particularly because of the large transmission tunnel that takes away from the legroom. I mean, the whole feeling in here is slightly claustrophobic. It definitely isn't helped by the choice of black everywhere. Even the rear quarter lights here at the back don't shed an awful lot of extra light into the cabin. Legroom, well, that's set for a 6-footer, and I think legroom is fine. Headroom is another story though. I mean, look at that. I'm only 5'4". Anyone much taller than me, even with these little indents in the roof, isn't going to want to make a long journey in the back of here. When it comes to everything else though, you've got 2 Isofix child seat points, an armrest that folds down with a little storage compartment and cup holders that pop out. And you've got these beautiful air vents that replicate the ones you'll find in the front. But coming back to space, well, I think that's just the price you pay for wanting a coupe SUV. And if you're really after more, then the standard GLC is probably the car for you.
There are just 2 trim levels for the regular coupe. Sport comes with 18-inch alloys, sat-nav artificial leather seats with heated front seats, a reversing camera and ambient lighting. AMG line, like our car, gets larger wheels, sport suspension and sportier exterior styling. There's also a number of option packs available, while the Mercedes AMG 43 and 63 versions get their own racier specs.
Now, whilst in the back it's very different to the standard GLC, in here, well, it's pretty much identical. Blindfold you and sit you in here and you'd be hard pressed to say whether you're in the coupe or the standard version. So basically what you get is this really beautiful layout with this really nicely designed dashboard. I mean, it's just a thing of beauty, isn't it? You've got the lovely tablet here in the centre, which I know divides opinion, but I do quite like. Gorgeous air vents, the whole thing just has a lovely tactile feel to it. It's just a much nicer place to be than, say, in the interior of the BMW X4. Quality, though, is a little bit lacking in places. I mean, I've been critical of this in the past, and it just feels a bit squeaky when you touch some of the controls. On that, the Porsche Macan has absolutely got that beaten. However, there's plenty of storage. You've got a good compartment in there and cup holders. This one down here is pretty cavernous. Really good sized door bins, and also a good sized glove box.
If you're after petrol power, then you're going to have to pay for it. Only the performance-minded Mercedes AMG GLC Coupes are petrol. There's a 362 brake horsepower 3-litre twin-turbo V6 for the GLC 43 Coupe, and a pretty fabulous 4-litre twin-turbo V8 with 469 brake horsepower for the GLC 63 Coupe, or 503 brake horsepower for the GLC 63S Coupe.
Most people, though, will go for a diesel, and there are 3 of them. Go for a GLC 220D and you get one of Mercedes' rather old rattly 2.1 litre diesels with 168 brake horsepower. Or you can step up to the GLC 250D and you get the 2.1 with 201 brake horsepower. Or if you want some extra pulling power, you could go for this. It's a very smooth 3-litre V6 diesel that really does pack extra punch.
With a peppy 253 brake horsepower, it's quick and packs a lot of punch. But despite Mercedes saying you'll get 47 miles to the gallon, in reality you're going to be nudging 35. So the smaller diesels with the more realistic mid-50s MPGs make more sense for most of us.
And there's another benefit from going for one of the smaller diesels. This V6 is a lovely engine, but my goodness me, it makes the GLC feel heavy. Turn into a corner and the front end just really pushes on, makes the car feel quite cumbersome. The 2.1 litre diesels are definitely lighter and it helps with the handling. Those models just feel more agile than this one does.
But even if you do go for one of the diesels, the GLC Coupe isn't what you'd call a sporty SUV, despite those swoopy lines. The steering is pretty numb, and the whole car feels a more relaxed Grand Tourer than a sports SUV, like the BMW X4 and the Porsche Macan.
Well, it feels relaxed and luxurious as long as you go for the adaptive air suspension. It costs just under £1,500. It not only continuously adapts the suspension, but it makes for the best ride comfort. And it also raises up if you want to go off-road. It is a lot of money, but it does make the GLC Coupe a really comfortable car to travel in.
The Coupe is going to add around £3,000 to the price tag of the standard car, so you're really going to have to want that extra style and put up with rather less practicality. But it is stylish, has a great interior, and compared to the BMW X4, it's more powerful, more efficient, and arguably better looking. Speaking of the BMW X4, why not check out our review or our SUV playlist? And don't forget to subscribe to our channel by pressing the Carbuyer logo.